This is my business card. It says Manuela Verduci, CEO of Kiron Digital. This is not what I was supposed to be. I am actually no business person at all. I never studied business. I never did an MBA. And I certainly didn't read a business magazine ever. I am what you could call an incognito philosopher. Currently, I'm running a social business in Berlin with the mission of shaping our society into a more inclusive one through EdTech and cultural transformation. Together with our mother company, Kiron NGO, we make it possible for refugees and newcomers to access higher education worldwide. But how did I get here? Well, let me take you back to when I first walked into a philosophy classroom in high school. Reggio Calabria, southern Italy. The teacher looks exactly like a cliché philosophy teacher. Pensive expression, long beard, dry and dark humor. He would say stuff like, the answers are within you, and they are wrong. So he's taking us through Plato's cave myth. Do you remember Plato's cave myth? That's the one where you have people chained in a cave, and they can basically only look at shadows on the wall. Their whole life, that's just all they can look at. And so they end up believing this is the only reality. One day, one of them is freed and walks out of the cave, realizing that, well, that reality they all believe in, it's not an unchangeable truth. It's just a human artifact. I am 13 years old, and everything stops for me. I have so many questions. What is knowledge? What is power? What is truth? I remember thinking, wait, what are we doing here? We walk around and go to school and go to work as if questions like these have already been answered. But these are the most important questions humanity will ever encounter. I want to wrestle with them. And so I decided to study philosophy. Not a popular decision. People reacted with that kind of pain smile you give to someone that is dropping out to join a circus. Yes. So they said I was wasting my potential and that philosophy was useless. What it is about anyway? Is it like fortune cookies, but longer? Well, I had to admit, I had my own doubts. What if they were right? Would I regret this later? I did not regret it. Studying philosophy was a truly transformative experience. Every morning, I woke up 5 minutes before my alarm, excited to run to my lectures. I didn't care about actively designing my future. I needed to feed my curiosity first. And philosophy was the perfect playground for it. Yeah, so like Steve Jobs famously said, right? You can only connect the dots looking backwards. Well, actually, the philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said it first. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must believe forward. Yeah, and also another thing about curiosity is that this is how the world changes, right? Art, technology, science, breakthroughs rarely happen by intention. They rather happen by mistake, while chasing an idea that initially doesn't make any sense, just out of curiosity. So now, fast forward to 2011. I'm writing my master thesis on a German philosopher, Martin Heidegger. His writing is, how do I put it, famously obscure. I brought you a drum of this. Das Nicht nichtet. The nothing nothings. Well, I remember thinking I may need to learn German to make sense of this. And that's how I moved to Berlin. I was expecting a land of poets and thinkers. Well, instead I found something quite different than that. The city was buzzing with startups. But this wasn't a normal startup scene like others I'd heard about. It had a special spirit. This wasn't just business. This was social change and activism. Startups here were laboratories for rethinking work, impact, and values. So I joined a startup with the mission to democratize education. In a few years, we reached over 1 million students. Realizing our work could have so much impact was exhilarating. Why had nobody told me we could actually do things in the world? As a young philosopher, I discovered thinking was not all. And so, as Hannah Arendt would put it, I ditched the contemplative life for a vita activa, an active life. So I discovered social business wasn't just about chasing profit or scaling operation. It was about questioning the premises of what a business could and should do. And yet, it was, and it is still today, so difficult to create real impact. Even the best-intentioned companies really often end up just perpetuating the same logic they're trying to fight against. I am sure there are many change makers in the room, and you know the frustration I'm talking about, not being able to really move the needle for real. But so, where do you learn the skill of real change making? Could philosophy help us here? Now, I know what you're thinking. Philosophy is great for ethical decision making, for thinking beyond profit and embracing diversity, and all of this is very nice and important and not particularly mind-blowing, right? Well, I think there is more to it. I think there are other reasons why we should include philosophy when talking about leadership. Something I like to call philosorship. By being a leader who can also think philosophically, you can, first of all, realize what is your cave. What is the set of assumptions you are not looking at in your problem? What is the infrastructure of reality that is currently invisible to you, like water for a fish? What is the genealogy of the ideas and perceptions you take for granted? Secondly, walk out of the cave. Realize the active role you could play in shaping those very perceptions and ideas. And third point, the most exhilarating part of all, define what's beyond the cave. And that is the entrepreneurial adventure. Change the paradigm of the problem you're working with. Innovate. Now, I'd like to spend some words about what innovations means, at least to me. I think we make a lot of confusion between improvement and innovation in our current discourse. If you're trying to make things better, faster, cheaper, you're not doing innovation. You're doing improvement. To be able to make innovation, you have to realize that the way we understand the problem, it's part of the problem itself. That is Hegel, by the way. So, innovation is trying to find answers to questions that have been asked yet. We are worried about AI gaining consciousness, right? Well, and yet, we don't know how to define consciousness. We are worried about freedom and our democracies, these days especially. And yet, we don't know how on earth we have free will. We are worried about the mental health crisis. And yet, we don't really understand the mind and the self. So, improvement, it's about thinking on how you could better see the shadows in the cave. Innovation, it's systemic change, and it requires you to get out of the cave. And that's what philosophy is for. And now, if you're still thinking that philosophy is useless, you know what? You're right. I actually agree with you. You know who else thought that? Aristotle. Well, philosophy isn't useful in the conventional sense, but that's the whole point. That's what use means. It means employ for a purpose. But philosophy is not about a use for a particular purpose. Philosophy is the discipline that helps us deconstruct, flip, and reshape the purpose itself. Now, there is something I didn't have the courage to tell you yet about Plato's cave myth. You know that guy that is freed and walks out and discovers, that reality can be changed and other people are living in this cave? Well, how can I put it? It doesn't really end well for him. He goes back into the cave and tries to convince everyone that we should change, that there is a much better way to live, and that they're in a cave and they're not just perceiving it. And it gets on everyone's nerves with it. Nobody is interested in listening. Nobody wants change. They just think he's crazy. And they even end up killing him. Now, first of all, I hope this is not how you feel about me now. But I can't help but wonder, well, what if we change the end of this myth? I don't really like the end of this myth, because it leaves us just with two possible options, either adjusting to the cave again, or getting killed, or maybe as a change maker, as a philosopher, you can become one of the puppet master beyond the cave and just, work on create another cave for people or sustaining the current cave. And I think we should change the end of this myth. I think we should try a third way. We should try to integrate philosophy in the way we live together and, most importantly, in the way we lead. Now, if you're a change maker or a leader, I'm sure on your business card, it doesn't say Heidegger expert, incognito philosopher, or Plato's cave analyst. But whatever the field you're trying to innovate in, know that philosophy could be our superpower to make a real difference in the way we create impact. We need more philosophers in disguise. Give philosophy a try. I promise you won't regret it. Thank you.